All right, one of the most subjective things that we could possibly talk about is who's the top 10 running backs. I mean, I put 5 up there. All of those 5 are in my top 10. It's a debate that can go on for the ages as to who's 1 and 2 and 3 and 7 versus 5, but we're going to give it a go. I'm going to start with you, Luke, because you're the younger guy and
All
I'm the
right.
older guy.
I will
You
say
got me?
I didn't have a hard time with this. I had
No?
a hard time with receivers. Yeah, receivers were tough,
Okay.
but running backs,
I
I
guarantee
think
you we're going to be different again.
yeah, no doubt,
Because
no
I
doubt.
just I have a different way of thinking. But
All right,
let's hear it.
all right. Number one, Saquon Barkley. He's the best back in the league right now. I wouldn't take him first in fantasy, but after last year, you can't you can't move him from one.
Yeah, and for the audience out there, this is not fantasy. This is not PPR. This is just
Yeah,
straight
yeah, yeah.
straight running back. As if you want to take the guy and build your franchise. You know what I'm saying? All things equal, if they were all the
Mhm.
same age, who would you want to have build your offense around in terms of a running back?
Yep. All right. Number two, I went Jameer Gibbs over Henry, just because of the dynamic ability out of the backfield in the passing game, age. Um, when he did get leaned on last year, he produced big time. And even when we lost to the Commanders, he should have got 30 carries, and we probably would have won. But and plus bias, go Lions. But after that, Derrick Henry's a freak, durability could be two, but I got Gibbs at two. Four is Bijan. Um, I don't even know what you can say about him. He does everything. He's a do it all back. He just has kind of been in a bad situation. I think they haven't used him properly, especially his first year. But you can't go wrong with him. I mean, you can't. Okay, then five's Christian McCaffrey. I couldn't take him out of the top five. He's probably the most talented guy, just in general overall. Just super injury prone, man, and hopefully he's fun to watch when he's healthy. So as a fan, hopefully he can stay healthy. Um, and he was, yeah, definitely top five. Six, Josh Jacobs. Personally, I want him higher, but I don't know who I would move. I want him a better rank, but I don't know who I would move. Watching him last year, I thought he won the rushing title in I think it was Oakland at the time, but for the Raiders, and he kind of had a revival last year. He looked really good, powerful, out of the backfield too, passing game, everything. He's a stud. And then I went Jonathan Taylor, which I don't really. I just think his ceiling's so high. His floor is low, but his ceiling's so high. He's a rushing leader himself, and he looked good last year too. Looks like he's back to being himself. So I got Jonathan Taylor at 8. Maybe a surprise here, but my pick is Bucky Irving at 9. I love Bucky Irving.
I think you're at 8, aren't you?
That was I did
Yeah,
skip one. I
yeah,
got
yeah.
7. I got
Barkley, Gibbs, Henry, Bijan, McCaffrey, Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, and who you got
yeah.
in 8?
I skipped before Jonathan Taylor. I got James Cook. I think James Cook really really showed out last year, and looked a little bit like his brother, honestly. Um,
All right,
so
so
yeah,
James Cook you have at 7, and 8 is
Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving at 9. Wish I could put him higher, just not a big enough sample size. But he's someone to watch out for.
remember,
And
it's
then
projection too. It's not just sample size. It's a little bit who you can project, not just on what they've accomplished so far.
for sure, yeah, I'm projecting
That's
him to
key
be
there.
top 10 easy.
All right, who you got 10?
Um, Kenneth Walker. I don't know if he's on. He's not on a lot of lists, I don't think, but he's somebody that if he stays healthy, he's dangerous. He's a threat to score every. He's a home run hitter. And watching him dismantle Michigan a few years ago has been. He's got a weird like spot. I don't know if it's in my heart or in my nightmares, but he's got a spot on my list.
Well, surprisingly, we have 3 or 4, not just in the top 10, but on the same number. But mine is very different than yours. So
All right.
one
Let's hear it.
I agree is Barkley, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of parts about me that said maybe I should put him at 2. I know that sounds crazy because it's very subjective. You've got guys, multiple guys here who are deserving of 1. It's you know what I'm saying. That's why I opened the segment with subjective.
Right.
Um, 2, we're different right here. Is Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
He's arguably the best running back in the world right now. And the only reason he's not considered as it universally is because of the reason that you said. He's had a tough situation there. But again, this is me talking about anticipation. This is me and projecting, as such a 3-decade plus entrepreneur, one of the biggest things that you have to learn is how to anticipate something before it happens and be able to think 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. And I've worked hard on that over the years. So when I look at things like this, I'm looking forward, and Michael Penix is going to be a superstar. I want to look in the camera and tell everybody this. Is it this year? Not necessarily, but Michael Penix is going to be an absolute all-world superstar. And when you put a quarterback like that and a receiver like London and some other parts and Bijan Robinson, I have to look at that and I have to say, what has he done? Where is he now? And how does he project forward? And for me, he is, you want to talk about a high ceiling, barring injury, there's nothing he can't do. He can, and they were so cautious. I had him in fantasy a lot. They were so cautious in his utilization.
Yeah.
In the first year, he was actually being underutilized. I think maybe
Right.
part of that was system and, Arthur Smith and this and that. I don't even know if they knew how to use him, to be honest with you. And as a lifelong Lions fan and much older than you, growing up with Barry Sanders, the Lions didn't know how to use Barry Sanders. Like, if you can't even make that up, but it's true. They did not know how to use him. And much to the same, I don't think that the Falcons knew fully. I think they got it now. And Raheem Morris is cleaning that all up. And Penix, I love Kirk Cousins. I love a lot of things that he's done. I actually like him later in his career, what he's done more so than earlier, if that makes sense. And you watch the quarterback story, and you root for a guy like that. But Penix is an upgrade at this point in time, and I just think that works really well with Bijan. Number 3, again, I was torn on this, but I have to do it. The guy's just impressive. I probably have not given him his props over his career like I should, is Derrick Henry. I don't know how he keeps on doing what he's doing, to be honest with you. Baltimore is obviously a way better situation than Tennessee. In my opinion, it gives him just, the versatility with Lamar Jackson, and the way they can disguise certain things and the way he's a one-cut guy downhill. And, I don't even think the guy has ever gotten the due or the credit or the props for being able to take it the distance. He's not a type of guy that you think about and say he could bust it off 80, but he could bust it off 80, 70, 60. It's like, how do you do that? That big, upright like that? It's kind of crazy. So I have him at 3.
It's almost
Number 4.
It's almost fatigue. He could be 1. He's been 1 forever, for a
Yeah.
while. But people have been. I'm sick of it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But keep going.
Number 4 is Gibbs for me. And I look at Gibbs and Bijan as very, very similar. And you know what's interesting about Gibbs, and we're going to see it this year, he's talked about it. The Lions have talked about it. Morton's talked about it. He's being split out wide a whole lot more. So I think what you're going to see is a lot more of the Alvin Kamara type usage.
Yeah.
They were doing that previous. It's not like Ben Johnson didn't do some of that, but I think you're going to see more of that. And if you went back on Twitter and then X through his first few years, I'd be like, you have to get the ball in his hands more. And you have to do that creatively. That's like Barry Sanders. They never really threw him the ball. And then the narrative was, well, he's not a very good pass catcher out of the backfield. Are you out of your freaking mind? You could watch the Oklahoma State games and see that they did it. He wasn't like a Gibbs or a Bijan in terms of volume, but these guys know how to catch the ball out of the freaking backfield. Yeah. He's not maybe Christian McCaffrey type usage, but come on, throw him the damn ball. So you'll see him on swings and screens and all sorts of different things. He's just an absolute stud. 5, again, we're on this. It's hard to take him out. McCaffrey, I have at 5. He's in for problems, though. San Francisco's a mess. I was a huge John Lynch guy. I always say it. I will eat the crow when I got to eat the crow. I wouldn't want to be a 49ers fan right now. Everybody seems to want out of San Francisco. Seems like nobody's happy. They want to be traded. Debo, and now it's Ayuk, and it's so many guys, and seems to be so many problems, and they've got holes everywhere. And I think McCaffrey is going to have a step back. Apparently, he just came out and said less than a week ago that he's feels as healthy as he has like in forever, in a long, long time. So that's a big part of it. But he is getting up there. Dude's taking a ton of abuse, a lot of usage, and San Fran is having some struggles, so that might affect him. But I can't take him out of 5. All right, this one will surprise you. Again, this is projection, and another superstar in waiting is Bucky Irving. I got Bucky at 6. Guy can do everything, and maybe that's a little bit of the Florida talking to me. I got to get to a Tampa game this year. I really want to see him. I want to see him play live. I'm not a big see a game live. I'd much rather watch it on a large TV, relax, go to the bathroom, pause, whatever I got to do. But I would love to see him in person. He's worth the price of admission. I struggled with this one because he's not flashy. He just gets it done. Jonathan Taylor at 7. Again, he's a guy who can really good out of the backfield catching the ball. He can run with power. He can run with speed. He's another guy that can shock you with some of the long-term or long-distance speed, breakaway speed, good around the goal line. Yeah. Tough guy, injured a lot. We'll see what happens on that. But I got him at 7. At 8, a very underrated guy. You could say he's maybe a system guy, but I have Kyren Williams at 8. He's perfect for the McVay system. Very good with Stafford. A lot of weapons over there, Nakua, etc. I have him at 8. Number 9 is Josh Jacobs. He's done what he's done. Got to give him his due. But for me, I can't have that conversation with him up in that top 6 when you look at the ability of those other guys. There's no knock on him. He's actually surprised me, if I'm being honest, that he was able to accelerate. Not because he didn't have the talent, but the system and the fit with LaFleur and Green Bay, I think it helped him a lot. And maybe getting away from the Raiders and the former regime helped him to get to a more stable organization that understood how to use him, that wanted to think run first. You're breaking in a new quarterback with Love. It was probably really good timing. So I got to give him his due there at 9. And then 10 is Kenneth Walker. I think we both had Kenneth Walker at 10. Another do-it-all back. Really, maybe top. Again, they can all do it. But he is terrific out of the backfield. Yep. Terrific runner, but he has sensational hands. And he can do it in pressure, space, flat, middle screen. And he's got great vision. He really beefed up too. I don't know if you've seen him between end of last year and now. He's beefed up quite a bit more. He muscled up quite a bit. And sometimes these guys, they muscle up too much, and I think it's part of what leads to injury when they overtrain, but we'll see what happens. And then on the outskirts of that, just some names I wrote down is obviously Giante and Travion. I have squared here because I think that they're two terrific running backs. And again, for the audience, it's on my sheet. Travion Henderson will be a superstar. Underrated, should have never been drafted as late as he is. There's going to be so many teams that, barring injury, I always got to say that, so many teams that regret not taking him. And New England, it was there. And I again, almost think that the Raiders should have flipped and got more value at 6 and gotten Travion later. But nevertheless, I have those two squared on the outside. And then as up-and-comers that are going to be the future of the position. And then I've got A-Chain and Breece Hall in there. Breece Hall's going to struggle a little bit with Justin Fields. It's just not a great situation. They're still going to struggle there, even though I love Aaron Glenn. There's the Detroit coming out of me. I think Aaron Glenn's a better head coach than Ben Johnson. I think he'll do a nice job building that franchise or rebuilding that franchise, but it's going to take some time. And you've got a lot of question marks with Justin Fields and Devin A-Chain, smallish guy, but again, tough. I'm not again, Florida here. I got into it in a conversation with somebody on X yesterday. It's Mike McDaniels, I think, is in over his head as a head football coach. I think he is be a phenomenal O coordinator, phenomenal that way. I think he's held back by all the duties. And I think if he was more of the offensive coordinator and didn't have to worry about the head coaching duties, you might even see A-Chain be even better than he is. But again, he could sneak in there. I think you can make a legitimate argument that A-Chain deserves to be at 10 above Kenneth Walker, or even 8 Kyron Williams, or you could make an argument that he could even be at 9 ahead of Jacobs. So those were just some guys I had out of the top 10 that just kind of on the outskirts, and 2 watch for guys in Giante and particularly Travion Henderson.
I like that.
All right, receivers. I have a feeling we will differ on this. We will differ on this too. Take it away.
All right. This was hard because there's so
a lot
many
of it's
different
subjective
aspects.
again,
This is
too.
very, very subjective.